welcome to the very first edition of the Creative Questions Challenge. My name is Yoko Shimizu. I am the catalyst and moderator for this talk session. I'm also an artist and researcher at the Ars Electronica Futurelab. The Creative Questions Challenge, CQC, is a new brainstorming talk session in which speakers explore and present their creative questions in a 30-minute dialogue. Instead of finding one solution or one answer to a specific question, we want to explore the question from all angles, 360 degrees, so that we can create a compass that can help us envision the future. We also have a visualizer, Patrick, with us, who will be mapping all of our creative ideas and questions to help us visualize the compass so that we can lead to and reach the creative mission at the end of the talk. And also, you, the audience, are welcome to join the talk by submitting your creative questions and ideas in the live chat section. And the selected comments and ideas will be mapped in the entire creative question map so that we can create the vision together as the entire society. Today we have two very special panelists with us, Horst Hörtner, CTO and Managing Director of the Ars Electronica Futurelab. We also have Hideaki Ogawa, Director of the Ars Electronica Futurelab. And our visualizer is Patrick Berger, Lead Designer and Artist of the Ars Electronica Futurelab. So let's start the show. Today's topic is art and society. And the initial question is, what is the role of art in society? Horst?
I think at the beginning it's important to point out the functionality of art in society is like a huge historical background to it. Like even from the first cave paintings, it started in a way that artists tried to explain or give context to the happenings in our world, or even the unknown of our world, giving new perspectives to our environment. And trying to explain and contextualizing is still an important task of art for our society. Creating meaning for our society, I think, is one of the key figures.
Then again, it's very interesting time, isn't it now? So as everyone knows, and face to the everydays, so-called, the impact from COVID and the Corona aspect. So I think it's really important to stop to think what's the role of art, and also actually today I'm very excited to discuss this. So what's the role of art in society, and from today and from for the future. So so what is the role about?
I still think, but that's a good point. I still think that this is contributing to, for us as an individual, but also as a society, to give us an idea about the possible or the different possibilities of future to come in. It's very important to see the different aspects and perspectives, and especially as you mentioned, the Corona times that we are in at the very moment. I think that we witness a very widespread energy among the arts community, not only, also in the economical world, to find forms and methods to overcome the limitations that we are stuck with. And I think this is a very, very good, and CQC, by the way, is one good example on trying to still create some prototype that would still work as a successor of the FIS was it was. So I think that this energy that is remarkable out there, strong out there, now could actually lead to some outcomes, and that is what art is very needed, I think, to generate outcomes to overcome the existing environment.
Absolutely.
Yes, so do you think that this restriction within the pandemic has actually pushed us or helped us reach a new level of creativity in society?
Well, to me, as you realize here now, here is Ars Electronica Center. So all over the world now, museums are closed or being in the process to, step into something else. So I think the conventional frame to the art is very shaken. And looking around my friends, of course, they are facing to some critical situations. But because the art was in a way framed, it's not like a tangible frame, but like a system-wise, like a museum or fair, exhibit, and a show and a performance. Such kind of mode was believed. But as Horst said, it's very interesting. What's gonna be new frame and mode of art in society? Because due to this situation, we can exhibit, for instance, or we can't invite the audience to be here. What's the other ways, and what can be the really new frame and new modes and for the society? So that's really, I think, a challenging point.
I think also that's not necessarily increased the available creativity, if you want to say so, but it's focused the creativity towards that point that we are all missing globally. Like, we all have learned social distancing, not to get closer. We all have been stuck into video conferences. And now the question is, how can we, with the utilization of the existing tools, overcome the haptical, if you want to say so, limitations for our social contacts? And I think this is a very, very strong focus that's visible throughout the art world, to find new formats, find new frames, create prototypes, to express the artistic environment that they are living in.
And also, I'm very interested in the current kind of social discussions regarding so-called new normality. I think the new normality was suddenly popped up, to our daily terms, and also social distance as well. Who knew about it? Well, is this temporary, or is this really established as it is going to be? So I think, we are feeling, quite often, oh, this is not working well. So I think we needed to question, this kind of sudden, proposal from authorities to people. By the way, what is it for? What's the scientific background? I think in this way, not just art, I think collaboration with science is also important as well, because if we forget about the basis of scientific knowledge, it's just emotional kind of discussions, and we can't argue. But looking at the media coverages now, everywhere, maybe in your countries, you find quite weird, kind of manifest or operational kind of strategies by some people or some influential persons. But I think art can question for humanizing such kind of proposal to be better adapted model. So again, I think what we should now talk is about what's the meaning of art, and I think Horst quite often mentions art can create meaning, right? Would you tell me more about this point?
Oh, sure. Well, there's, I think, also one point I would like to add what you have said before. There is a certain request from us to follow established rituals. Like Ars Electronica Festival itself is not only showcasing art pieces, not only having conferences, etc., on this program, but also the community that forms within or has formed on one location within the festival was a very, very important strategy for a festival in general, for the Ars Electronica in specific. we've seen, just like this week, the Salzburger Festspiele have opened quite successfully, as it seemed, from the artistic perspective. From the format perspective, it still stayed, even though the people were sitting there with masks, of course, and separated in their seats, it stayed in the format that has been established already, which is probably the proper format for this kind of art. But the meaning of what we could witness by watching at this opening was that every single visitor was very, very happy to be part of the ritual again, to kind of find a way to group together and to experience their art expressions. And this, I think, is one very, very important aspect of the sentence that art creates meaning for us. Like, there's this three sentences, that technology or science is actually creating knowledge, technology is creating the possibilities, but it's only art that creates meaning. And one typical aspect on that is not only that art helps us to contextualize and kind of create perspectives towards the future, it's also helping us to live our rituals. And I think from that point, in this very, very special moment, I think it would be a very strong proposition for artists to create new forms of social presence in opposition to distance.
The social distance, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I agree that the importance, as a member of the Ars Electronica Futurelab, I agree that the importance and the meaning of art is increasing more and more during this pandemic. What are some of the things, as leaders of the Futurelab, are you seeing in the artist communities that have changed through this pandemic?
Just going to that, I just really connect to what Horst said, ritual. You know, I think again how we also, as you say, Futurelab itself is to me like a community, and also part of my rituals. I think what can we trust, you know, in this 21st century, and also what we used to trust, by the way, and these kind of fundamental questions coming to me, and then how, you know, it's art stimulating the trust, you know, in daily lives. So this case, some special moment to work with our members as a, you know, community, really, you know, giving me a tangible kind of belongings. Or, you know, by creating something new together, we can see the next, we can see the you know, future. So in this way, I think ritual definitely connecting to the meaning of you know, community, and why are we humans gathering, and historically, you know, why, you know, did humans create such rituals, like including religion and many kind of rituals all over the world, including wisdoms. To, for example, in the case of Japan, they used to have masks originally, for example. This was, in a way, very, not just cultural stuff. Probably this might be also preventing and protecting our body from their kind of natural environment. So the most important thing is now how to respect, you know, how to respect and how to consider the dignity, you know, and then how, you know, does art make such opportunities to realize the fundamental moment for us.
May I also add to your, or answer to your question? That was, how would art react, or what is visible on the reaction of Corona? If I remember back in March, when the close down happened, here, at least in Austria, a lot of arts-driven communities have generated, very close to the maker communities, have generated quickly proposals for how to 3D print your masks or how to create, tools and environments to help you cope with the new situation. I think that was a very, very, from my perspective, typical reaction of those communities to really propose a new, a way out, so to say. And it's not stopped since then. There's so many different aspects and so many different tools and projects being proposed or actually executed since then. So that is already a wide, how can I say, a huge brush of a tool set.
Yes, I agree. I'm also fascinated by the rise of the artist communities and how they're coming together throughout this pandemic. And we, as Ars Electronica, I feel very, very happy to be part of that entire movement. By the way, you just heard the midway point bell 1 minute ago, a few seconds ago, and we're now in the halfway point, and I was wondering if we would like to take a look at some of the audience questions.
Sure.
Yes. So here's an audience question. Do you think art or the way we see art has changed permanently due to the global pandemic, or will things go back to normal?
I think that again, it's probably not changed, but it's a shifted focus. So maybe the question should not be what is the role of art in society, it's rather maybe what is the role of society in art and in artistic practice at the moment. And I think that this is really, as we said already, it's very recognizable that this is happening a lot. Artworks that are focusing the contemporary situation of the moment of this corona pandemic.
And yeah, it's a your new question is really absolutely great. So how to position, how to discuss this point to the society is really important. What I would say to the question is, art is not always, creating answers, or art is not directly, working as a new medicine. I sometimes say art can be effective for our immunity for human, So, or art can be a, opportunity to create your own compass. And I think we tend to believe, okay, future is this direction. But nobody knows, nobody told us tomorrow is this way. So this case, I think art was not considered well about the effect for future. Because art was, traditionally in my school, class, art was quite past, So, but now what we are dealing with art in Ars Electronica is all about, the catalyst for the future. So I think this case, how to create the social circumstances, as Horst said, to really discuss the, catalyst. And what's the effect of the catalyst for creating better chemical reactions for our society? So I think because otherwise, art is, I would say, again, catalyst. Catalyst is not functioned without some elements. And then so who was a facilitator? Who was a facilitator to make the chemical reactions? Because there are many interesting factors around these chemical terms. Like you are from chemical, right? So like inhibitor and also promoter. So I think in society how to really discuss again the effective use of art, and I think citizens as well. I think citizens are definitely important factors and as also important catalysts, to do so. Then again, coming back to Horst, how how to really create such social in a way platform to test and explore the chemical reactions for future.
And also, it's not only kind of a catalyst; it's also a thinking model. Art thinking is one of the strategies. Actually, your key research topic at the laboratory, anyway. So I think that there is so many different prospects for the art being embedded as a catalyst, as a methodology into the processes that we are running through. It's not only limited to the artistic work or world itself. It's actually a very, very valuable, I would say, tool set or approach of thinking through challenges that might not start or be based in the art world, which is actually based in different worlds, in sports as well as in entertainment, as well as in the industry.
And as for speaking of like tools used in a lot of different industries currently, there's an interesting question that is also probably important to us and related to this segment is now that everybody is having like virtual online artistic content, but it's sometimes harder to get more traffic or large audiences with those tools. Do you agree, or is there something that we can do?
I think now definitely many interesting technologies, and also we know well like virtual reality was also one of our Futurelab traditional research. Of course, in this context, somehow the technology will be promoted, but what we need to again discuss or test, explore is what's the meaning to share or together. I think otherwise it's giving us the kind of personal and immersive environment. How to make togetherness? How do we feel togetherness? Or what I would say is in also laboratory we have a very interesting research topic called digital resonance. Digital resonance might be quite interesting keywords. So how to create resonance? How it's not like the era of interaction, or some just immersive, experiences, but rather how to feel, the resonance, how to share the resonance, how. So I think that technology, if we can find such technology to really create and generate the resonance, that might be giving us the new kind of future experiences. But I would say the resonance is quite often tricky because, resonance is a very highly, mixture, and the resolution is not 8K or 4K, anything, right? It's very interesting mixture of everything. So how to, again, create the new ritual together, not just talking about the technologies, how to make the new mode is, I think, key point.
We need to extend the way how we consume or enjoy digital media to a format that would allow to experience social presence and experience this kind of rituals. And many of the people out there are already considering this, trying to work on different prototypes on that. I think this is going to be a very, very important topic for the future, is how do we utilize as a community this moment of the being together, and how can we experience this with our digital remote media.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. And the bell that you just heard was a bell. Yes, we are now down to the final 5 minutes of the discussion. So some of the interesting keywords and questions that came up were catalysts, rituals, art thinking, and digital resonance, and the fact that the artist communities are coming together through this pandemic. And there have been some changes, but still there are some things that still stay the same and is still the core of art in society. And I would like for us to start to talk about the final creative question and the creative mission based on all the keywords that we have came up with.
It's quite a very long question to summarize it.
I think there was another interesting question, was that the initial question was, what is the role of art in society? But we came full circle and came up with a question, what is the role of society in art? I think which summarizes many of the keywords that we discussed today.
I'm ready to agree.
I think it's really good, and I agree with that. So, in addition, I think we should understand why are we saying that. Actually, I'm very concerned about our current social mood, that people are easily going to be a swarm, or under the big umbrella of safety, on the something like this. Immediately the system, a new system is introduced, like a tracking camera, surveillance camera in another world, or tracking use for the tracking the infected persons and so on and so on. What we should take care about this new social situations observed by some powers. So I think society is very abstract, and we never touch the society. But of course, by this social mood, something is very in a fragile condition. So I think this case, we need a platform, we need a place to discuss the question that we raised, constantly, because this is a really new kind of cultural observatory. So my mission, my proposed mission is how create a cultural observatory for our new society. So the question is originally from what Horst said. So this case we can really constantly update, and because we don't know the exact answers, and yes and no, we needed to find the new strategy to update, not to change, but update the thinking, update place to really adapt and discuss carefully. Humanity is very important, I would say.
Totally agree. Nothing to add to it besides the fact that Ars Electronica always tries to act as such a platform, and will for the future as well. So perfect statement. Yes.
Yes, so thank you, panelists. I think the final creative question is, what is the role of society in art? And our creative mission is creating a cultural observatory for society, and Ars Electronica becoming a hub for that platform. Thank you, everybody, for joining us in the first edition of CQC, and see you again in our next broadcast. Bye.
Bye.